dog.
Look at him.
What, named after the dog?
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, yes, sir. Welcome to it, the Nation of Jake on The Voice.
Yes, have some.
FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube. Just go find the YouTube channel. Very simple, Nation of Jake. Run it all together there. Also, catch up with me on the Twitter, at Nation of Jake, for this Thursday, June 13th, year of our Lord 2019. Sunny, 78 degrees, with a high of 79. So we're pretty much there here in Memphis, a city on edge. Are you on edge? Yeah, city on edge. That's what the national headlines would have you believe today, that we're a city on edge just waiting for what comes next. More on that in just a few minutes. Nationally, we got to catch up with Donald Trump. He can't get out of his own way, can he? Democrats now seizing on comments he made to George Mephistopheles of ABC News, saying that he would listen if there was dirt offered by foreign governments on a Democrat opponent. A lot of people are saying this isn't right and this isn't good. It's definitely not something that I would say if I were president. But that, again, when a president speaks as much as Donald Trump does, you're bound to say something stupid, and boy, does he say some stupid stuff. We've also got an update on David Ortiz, Big Papi, who was shot in the Dominican Republic over the weekend. It was an attempted hit on the former Boston Slugger. Yeah, a hit job, an assassination attempt. Thank God it didn't work. He's recovering. But why? Why? Who would want Big Papi dead? Big Papi's a good guy. We'll find out more about that in just a little bit. Nationally syndicated columnist Ron Hart will drop by for his mid-year preview. Actually, it's a mid-year review is what he has. You don't preview in the middle of the year. Maybe he'll give us a preview of the rest of the year, what he expects. But yeah, think about it. Here we are, June 13th. 2019 is pretty much half over, if you like to look at life that way. I don't go by my calendar, just mark off the days like that. That's depressing. We'll also hop on the news cruise and get up to date on all the headlines. The major headline today, I referenced it earlier, Memphis, a city on edge. Now that's if you read CNN. If you read the Washington Post, all the headlines are about violent protests and riots breaking out in the streets of Memphis last night. This has shades of Ferguson, depending on who you ask. Actually, this morning, I was approached by a guy named Tony Katz to go on his show. He does a show out of Indianapolis, and I know Tony a little bit. We go back. We worked in radio some years ago. We passed each other up at some conventions and some radio gatherings and whatnot. And so, yeah, sure, I'll come on your show, Tony Katz, and I'll let you know what's going on in Memphis. And that's how he framed everything. It was, oh, this is shades of Ferguson. You've got people throwing bottles and throwing rocks at cops. What's it like in Memphis? How's it feel there? And I said, feels great, dude. It's 76 degrees and sunny. And everybody's getting about their day, reading about the incident last night, and that's what it was, an incident in Frazier. I mean, Tony, my man, thought that there were riots in the streets all over Memphis. He thought this was a citywide thing, and he thought that we were all huddled in our houses just waiting for the next brouhaha to break out between citizens and the Memphis police. But I explained to him, and I set him straight. I was like, look, everything's cool in Memphis right now. There was a bit of a dust-up in the north part of town in Frazier, and it's funny because you have to sit there and explain some of the geography of Memphis to people who have never been here. They've never been here before. They just think Memphis, oh, Beale Street, city on the river. Oh, it's great. And they think it's on fire. It's not the case. But what happened last night, pretty interesting. A lot of questions still. It's being investigated. Information is coming out bit by bit. This account from our friends at the Daily Memphian. A chaotic scene erupted in the Frazier area Wednesday evening following an officer-involved shooting with heavily armed police facing off against an angry, rock-throwing crowd. Rain and tear gas had largely dispersed by 11 p.m. Disperse the crowd, that is, as officers on horseback patrolled, but not until after agitated onlookers and police clashed in a volatile situation that left several officers injured by flying debris, according to Memphis Police Deputy Director Mike Rial. None were injured seriously. All right, so no serious injuries, and I don't mean to downplay the seriousness of the incident. Anytime you've got citizens wielding rocks and bottles and throwing stuff at police and destroying property, bashing in police cruisers with chairs, breaking the windshields, it's a serious situation. That said, I don't think that we're all on edge about it today. Well, and here's also what everybody needs to understand nationally. I know you know because you're smart and you're following the news. This wasn't an MPD shooting. This was a shooting by the U.S. Marshals Service. And listen, I'm not exactly sure all of the purview of the U.S. Marshals, but I gather if you are being hunted down by the U.S. Marshals, you're probably wanted for some pretty bad stuff. All right, U.S. Marshals, I don't think you get on the U.S. Marshals radar for shoplifting or traffic tickets. All right, they're primarily involved in recovering dangerous fugitives. All right, so this was a shooting by the U.S. Marshals Service. Now, the TBI was called out. Now, I'm not sure why the TBI was called out. Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, I'm not sure if they have jurisdiction over a U.S. Marshals Service shooting, but it might just be an extra layer of accountability. So, the fine folks at the TBI gave their account. Officers with the U.S. Marshals Gulf Coast Regional Fugitive Task Force were searching for a suspect wanted on multiple warrants. And again, this isn't for having a bag of weed. U.S. Marshals don't get called out for that kind of stuff. They spotted the man getting into a vehicle outside of a residence. While attempting to stop the individual, he reportedly rammed his vehicle into the officers' vehicles multiple times before exiting with a weapon. The officers fired, striking and killing the individual. No officers were injured. That's according to the TBI's account. The TBI didn't release the name of the suspect at the time. However, family members identified the suspect as Brandon Weber, age 20. His cousin said Weber was fatally shot and that as many as 20 shots were fired at him. So 20 shots, you go, oh my goodness, 20 shots. Well, there's an old phrase that I like to draw out in situations like this. Anybody worth shooting is worth shooting a bunch. You neutralize the threat. If this guy is aggressive and he's a dangerous felon and he's rammed his car into your vehicle multiple times and then he gets out of his vehicle with a gun, you don't just fire a warning shot. You don't just aim for the knees. That's not how it works. Multiple U.S. Marshals probably each took a few shots to neutralize the threat. A dangerous felon, you don't take any chances. So again, anybody worth shooting is worth shooting a bunch. County Commissioner Tammy Sawyer was on the scene. She retweeted a tweet also identifying the victim as Weber. And now it says the victim here. Do we refer to dangerous suspects who attack law enforcement officers as victims when they're shot? I don't think that's the right word. That's not what I would use. And I've actually checked with a few of my friends in the journalism business and say, yeah, I'm not sure I would use that word either. MPD officers were just called out to help the crowd. This was not a Memphis Police Department shooting. This was a federal agent or multiple federal agents who shot and killed Brandon Weber. The intense scene became chaotic, with some of those gathered at the scene throwing rocks, swinging chairs into MPD squad cars, and breaking windows in police vehicles. Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland said about 24 law enforcement officers received injuries during the disturbance, 6 of them taken to the hospital for treatment. The mayor said multiple police cars were damaged, a concrete wall outside of a business was torn down, and the windows on a Memphis fire station shattered. More than 30 law enforcement units converged on the scene as angry crowds gathered, cars sped towards officers before swerving off, and a police helicopter flew overhead, shining lights on the street. Police used loudspeakers, telling the crowd to disperse. They began using tear gas to disperse the crowd shortly before 10 p.m. Several media members were hit by the tear gas or shoved by angry crowds. So you had this incident. Again, you can call it a riot. Sure, they did a little rioting. Some people angry in the neighborhood because these folks have been told for 5-6 years now that the police are out to get you. And the police will come into your neighborhood and they will shoot you in your own front yard. They will just take you out. Now, when you're told this over and over again, yeah, you might get frustrated. Oh, now it's coming to my neighborhood. And then you get the activists. And then you get the mayoral candidates out there on the scene. They're taking pictures and they're tweeting, riling everybody up. Rabble rousers, right? So that's what we have. And I've got a lot of questions about this. There are a lot of questions still to be answered. Information coming out I'd like to know about the suspect who was shot by the U.S. Marshal Service. They said he had multiple outstanding warrants, felony warrants. I want to know what those were. I want to know about people in Fraser who were upset by this shooting. I'm sure that this was a guy who lived in the neighborhood and people knew. Did they know that he was involved in felonies? Did he know he had all these outstanding warrants? Again, U.S. Marshal Service, they don't come after you for just anything. You got to be a dangerous fugitive. So we'll find out more about the suspect who was shot, who was there, how this is being framed by the media. And there's something missing here. There's a lot of stuff missing here, a lot of questions yet to be asked. We're going to do that, talk more about this incident in Fraser. We'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs. There's little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
When you're planning an event and need on-time delivery, call Odell Sanders. Sanders Catering has been in business for 31 years, specializing in breakfast, lunch, dinners, corporate, and social events. When you need a caterer to work with your budget, call Odell Sanders at 901-372-2631 or visit them online at sanderscatering.com and take a look at their menu. Sanders Catering, a leader in catering services. Call today at 901-372-2631.
Appella is a nonprofit organization that is committed to the promotion of independence among their clients. Many seniors are not ready or do not need to move to an assisted living facility, but they need some help to continue living in their own homes. Appella's team of care specialists provide assistance with daily tasks that become difficult as our bodies age. Appella is locally operated and serves the North Mississippi area. Call them today at 662-429-3652 or visit appella.org.
Miracles are happening in genetic testing and disease screening. As they say, knowledge is power, and Momentum Community Care offers you a chance to get early detection of cancers you may be genetically inclined to, and help develop a preventative treatment plan if needed. It's called CGX and PGX screening. The best news is that it's fully covered by Original Medicare Part B and most insurances. Call Jason Abbott at Momentum Community Care now for more information at 901-218-4425.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Dan Groban and Phil Menard at Servant Advisors Group call this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Servant Advisors Group at 855-260-1000 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 855-260-1000. Servant Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Servant Advisors Group, LLC. Insurance licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, and in Arkansas.
Meriton provides services for seniors focused on making them feel independent and improving their quality of life, whether that's through work opportunities or being able to age in their own home. Meriton offers programs such as in-home care, including meal prep, household chores, home health with skilled nursing and therapy services, and employment for low-income seniors through job training and a paid part-time placement program. Call them today at 901-766-0600. Meriton, well-being, independence, quality, and compassion.
Love everything about cars? Then check out my show, Auto Talk Live. I'll talk about everything automotive, from new cars to cool tech and car buying tips. Your escape from politics, reality shows, and everyday life. It's educational and entertaining. So join me, JP Palooga, every Friday from 8 to 9 a.m. for Auto Talk Live. Live on KWAM The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. We're online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube. Just go find Nation of Jake. Run it all together. Nation of Jake on YouTube. Highlights to follow on the Facebook page. And catch up with me on the Twitter, at Nation of Jake. Talking about this incident in Fraser last night, about 7 p.m., U.S. Marshals were in pursuit of a suspect who has now been named as Brandon Weber, age 20. At his house, Brandon Weber got into a vehicle and decided to ram the vehicles of the U.S. Marshals, exiting his vehicle afterwards with a rifle. According to reports, he was shot and killed, and I guess that kind of activity draws a crowd in the neighborhood. You get the TBI out there, MPD goes out there because there's a crowd, and I think that in and of itself is going to kind of get people a little bit curious and then riled up, and then people in Fraser are probably going out and saying, oh, another police shooting. They're killing us. They're killing us. Because over the past 5 or 6 years, there's been this narrative woven together. Now, regardless of the details of these police shootings, regardless of how different each one is, if you evaluate it on a case-by-case basis, the narrative is out there that police are going and indiscriminately shooting young black men, or that every time a white police officer shoots a young black man, they're not held accountable. Both are untrue. All right, both are untrue. This Brandon Weber, 20 years old, was not in his front yard mowing the lawns with earbuds in when U.S. Marshals drove up and said, hey, you're under arrest, and as soon as he took his earbuds out, they gunned him down. That didn't happen. All right, so more to the story, because I've got a lot of questions. You also have to know this about the suspect who was killed, Brandon Weber. Brandon Weber was wanted on multiple felony warrants by the U.S. Marshals. And again, U.S. Marshals don't come after you for just menial stuff. All right, they're not coming to pick you up for a bag of weed. They're not coming to pick you up for unpaid traffic tickets. They're not coming to pick you up for stealing stuff, for shoplifting. U.S. Marshals don't mess with that kind of thing. You had to do something pretty bad. You have to be a violent, dangerous fugitive from justice. All right, so what do we know about Brandon Weber? We know that he had the outstanding warrants. We also know via his Facebook page that he liked to pose with weapons, with stacks of money. He either was somebody wrapped up in drugs or wanted you to believe he was. All right, he wanted you to believe he was tough. Maybe he was. He was a tough kid. He probably grew up tough and he got into some stuff. Again, that's speculation. He did go on Facebook Live and proceeded to broadcast a live video to the world saying that he was going to bring officers into a high-speed chase. He posted the video to Facebook about 3 hours before the shooting. He turned the camera to show a passing police car, and that's when he alluded to bringing officers on a high-speed chase. He posted that video saying that the police would have to catch him. At one point, the police car drives by. He calls the officers biatches and seemed to say, "Don't drive by me. You're going to have to catch me, homie." So he seemed to know that he was being pursued by police or U.S. Marshals. He was on their radar, and he was there for a reason. All right, so he is killed in the process of running his car into and then brandishing a weapon at U.S. Marshals. And then the MPD is brought out as a means of support because a crowd had started to gather, ask questions. Activists showed up. There's a name that I see. And there's a guy in town who seems to show up at every incident like this. And about an hour and 40 minutes after the shooting, this guy shows up, this activist who wants to get his name in the paper and he wants to get his name on this show. He's not going to. Then you've got Tammy Sawyer, county commissioner, and that's her district. She goes out there to assess the situation and do some tweeting. She's also running for mayor. So you've got politicians and activists going out. That's probably not helping the situation. MPD goes out, and once the riot gear and crowd control measures come out, that seems to escalate things. All right, so then you've got rocks being thrown, and you've got chairs being smashed over police cruisers, and you've got reporters being knocked to the ground and slapped around. All right, and then you got yourself a bit of a fracas. You got a brouhaha. You got a dust-up. You've got an incident. You can call it a riot if you want. And it probably was. You got people throwing stuff, destroying property. Well, let's call it a riot. You got a little riot going on in Fraser. In all these details I'm reading, I'm hearing about 25 police officers who were injured, some of them sent to a hospital, nobody seriously injured. Some reporters got knocked to the ground and damage of property, but I didn't see how many were arrested in the riots. That's something that I have not yet seen. I've reached out to my friends at the Commercial Appeal to find out how many were arrested. My contact over there does not know. Was anybody arrested? Were any of the people who came out to start trouble and to throw rocks at cops, were they arrested? I would like to know that. Maybe. G-Man told me that 3 people were arrested, he read. But outside of that, I don't know. It seems like you would have a lot more people brought to justice for attacking cops in the aftermath of a shooting by the U.S. Marshals. And by the way, U.S. Marshals carried this out. They were executing a warrant. They were trying to catch up with 20-year-old Brandon Weber, Central High School graduate, 2017. It's now come out. Of course, all his teachers at Central High School say, oh, he was a really talented art student. We really liked Brandon. On Facebook, people are saying, oh, man, I know this guy. And kind of the whole, he didn't do nothing kind of deal. Well, the U.S. Marshals don't come after you if you didn't do nothing. Okay. Why is the TBI investigating a shooting by U.S. Marshal Service? Now, that was my first question. It's like, it's a federal matter. The FBI should be investigating the shooting, and I'm sure they are. I think the DA may have asked the TBI to come in. It was a law enforcement shooting in Shelby County. So maybe it's an extra layer of accountability, maybe accessibility, getting the TBI, and then maybe the TBI report can be taken by the FBI, and then they can say, okay, we will just defer to the TBI on this. And also, I'm reading different accounts of this, like you are. Listen, I did not stay up and watch the coverage of this all night. I was not glued to the television. I saw some things on Twitter. I saw some updates on my phone, but I didn't stare at this like I did the I-40 bridge protest from a couple of 3 years ago, I guess. So, I'm just kind of I'm reading different accounts. Daily Memphian, Commercial Appeal, Heavy.com had a lot of what you need to know. And then some of the national, Washington Post, CNN, you see it. No, they're gonna pick the most provocative photos of, tear gas being launched onto people and make it look like there's some great injustice that took place in Memphis on the river. So I'm reading all these different accounts, and I was on Twitter looking through, and they start saying the victim, Brandon Weber, age 20, the victim of this shooting. I'm just not so sure that when a suspect who allegedly, or the TBI in their report say, rammed his cars into U.S. Marshals, exited the vehicle with a weapon, and we saw his Facebook post of his video where he is anticipating a high-speed chase, saying they're going to have to catch me. I'm not so sure that victim is the right word. I mean, he's the suspect who attacked law enforcement officers, who was shot and killed. The departed, the deceased, the suspect. I'm not so sure the victim is the right word. You know what victim is the right word for? Victim is the right word for the people victimized by Brandon Weber on these felony warrants. Listen, it might have been drug stuff. It may have been that he harmed people. I think that, again, I'm just kind of taking it all part and parcel. Some violent crimes, maybe even murder. We don't know. But I do know that U.S. Marshals don't go after guys for small-time stuff. So he must have been involved in something pretty bad, and these aren't victimless crimes the U.S. Marshals pick you up for. All right, they're not going to pick you up for riding a motorcycle without a helmet. Okay, so with all that, I mean, I'd like to know how many people arrested. Well, we've got the response from Mayor Strickland, which I thought was very measured. You know, he gets in this war room, you know, when things like this happen. We saw it on the bridge protest a few years back, and he's asked usually just, hey, don't come out here. Mike Rawlings, as we saw, did a great job of de-escalating that bridge protest, and he took a lot of heat from that. He took a lot of heat. People were like, no, those people should have been arrested and locked up, and some of them should have. People who were, I guess, who started it. They blocked I-40 for hours. That was not cool at all. That said, I thought Mike Rawlings did a great job of de-escalating a situation that could have been really bad. All right, and he's a pretty solid guy. I don't agree with everything that he comes out in favor of or all his solutions. That said, I think he's a good guy, and I think he did a great job there. But he said even at that incident, I didn't want the mayor out here. There's nothing you can do, because the mayor was taking heat for not being out there on the bridge. But he said, hey, you know what? I appointed Rawlings, the interim director, after Tony Armstrong left with the election of Jim Strickland. And so Jim Strickland's in his war room monitoring the situation, and he released a statement after the incident. As I monitored tonight's fatal shooting involving the U.S. Marshals, I was proud of our first responders. I'm impressed by their professionalism and incredible restraint as they endured concrete rocks being thrown at them and people spitting at them. At least 24 officers and deputies were injured. 6 were taken to the hospital. All right, right there, I'm thinking, don't you get arrested for that? Throwing concrete at cops, spitting on police officers who weren't even responsible for the shooting in your neighborhood. They were just there to keep you safe. That's what they were trying to do. Maintain safety and order in an otherwise chaotic situation. The mayor goes on. At least 2 journalists were injured. Luke Jones from WREG. And he said he got hit right in the side of the head. He had to change locations because he got hit in the head. And I got to give it to some journalists, man. You got to be fearless, especially, man, that tough old broad Janice Broach. My goodness. She's not afraid of anything, is she? She will go to Lexington, Kentucky and ask the hard questions to John Calipari. And she'll go out to Fraser at night where there's rocks being thrown and cars swerving around police officers into a riot. Love Janice Broach. She's a national treasure and a Memphis institution. The mayor goes on. Multiple police cars were vandalized. A concrete wall outside a business was torn down. The windows were broken out at a fire station. Let me be clear, he says. The aggression shown towards our officers and deputies tonight was unwarranted. I want to thank the Shelby County Sheriff's Office for their assistance, the governor and Tennessee Highway Patrol, Memphis Fire, and my staff and directors who worked overnight to serve this city. That's Memphis Mayor Jim Strickland. And I'm sure more will come out, more response, more information. I'd really like to know what was in these warrants for Brandon Weber. It's got to be some bad stuff. U.S. Marshals don't mess around unless these guys operate out of Birmingham. The U.S. Marshals Gulf Coast Task Force. And I think it's Alabama, Mississippi, and Tennessee is what they cover. So we're going to find out more about Brandon Weber and what it also, look, I don't like when agents of the government are forced to take someone's life. All right. And I'm not going to sit there and go, oh, yeah, good, deserved it. That kind of sentiment is not helpful. That said, when you attack law enforcement, it's suicide by cop. I'd rather it not have happened at all. I'd rather Brandon Weber left Central High School in 2017 and not gotten in any trouble. From what I understand, he's got a young child. There's no winners here. And so the rhetoric on social media, on Twitter, the rabble-rousing, the race baiting and all that kind of stuff, that doesn't help. We can talk about the facts of this case as a standalone case and not weave it into any other broader narrative that any mayoral candidate or activist or national publication wants you to believe in. We don't need to do that. Let's just talk about this thing. And we'll talk about it more as more details come out. We've got a follow-up to shift gears just a little bit. Justin Bieber has now come out and addressed his challenge to Tom Cruise. He said he wanted to beat up Tom Cruise. We've got more on that story. But coming up next, let's get some updates on David Ortiz, Big Papi, who was shot over the weekend in the Dominican Republic. Who would want to shoot Big Papi? That's the question I've been asking for days now. Well, we found out, but still, why? Will we find that out? We'll do that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News Update. President Trump has riled Democrats and more than a few Republicans by telling ABC last night if a foreign power were to offer him dirt on a political opponent, he'd consider it. As he put it, there's nothing wrong with listening. And he says he would not feel compelled to call in the FBI.
You don't call the FBI. You throw somebody out of your office. You do whatever you do.
Al Gore got a stolen briefing book. He called the FBI.
Well, that's different. A stolen briefing book. This isn't a stolen. This is somebody that said, we have information on your opponent. Oh, let me call the FBI. Give me a break.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
What the president said last night shows clearly, once again, over and over again, that he does not know the difference between right and wrong. And that's probably the nicest thing I can say about him.
House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy.
I think the president's been very clear. The president does not want foreign government.
Are happening in genetic testing and disease screening. As they say, knowledge is power, and Momentum Community Care offers you a chance to get early detection of cancers you may be genetically inclined to, and help develop a preventative treatment plan if needed. It's called CGX and PGX screening. The best news is that it's fully covered by Original Medicare Part B and most insurances. Call Jason Abbott at Momentum Community Care now for more information at 901-218-4425.
If you're in need of a professional cleaning service that takes your business as seriously as you do, call Jan Pro Cleaning Systems today. They understand how important it is to establish and maintain a professional image. That's why they offer the Jan Pro Signature Clean and the Jan Pro Guarantee. From regular scheduled cleaning to the tough stuff like stripping and waxing, buffing, carpet extractions, and detail cleaning, Jan Pro does it all. Call today for a free, no-obligation quote. 901-683-4900. Insured and bonded for your protection. Jan Pro Cleaning Systems. Measurable cleaning, guaranteed results.
Live your later years like you're on a fabulous vacation at the Robinwood Retirement Community Bartlett. If you are over 55, come and find out about an all-inclusive resort-style living. Month-to-month rent, meals, paid utilities, free cable, phone, and internet are included. Freedom dining, weekly housekeeping, and fitness center are just a few of the amenities offered. Elegant floor plans include full kitchens. Robinwood is the perfect choice for your luxury retirement living. Call 901-381-8949 to find the perfect place for you.
This is Clark Howard. I love store brands and generics. You know that. You know that's what I'm about, right? So it is absolutely upsetting to me that so many of my fellow consumers are buying brand names again that we're buying store brands. And this brand name manufacturers, they're just so excited. They've been boosting prices again and again on many consumer products, up 10% or more, because they're not meeting what economists refer to as price resistance. So I don't know why you've lost your spirit of thrift, but store brands are phenomenal in so many cases. And now the price spread between the brand names and the store brands is wider than normal. So if you've gone back to buying brand names, why don't you test that store brand again? And the savings you'll get will be huge.
Guess what? Right now is the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. So come summertime, you can just sit back and relax. Home Advisor can help get you started. Home Advisor matches you to the right pro for the job in seconds. You can read reviews and even book appointments online. Home Advisor can help with any home project, big or small, painting, plumbing, even remodeling. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor.
Have you heard about Newsmax TV? It's America's fastest growing cable news channel in 70 million homes. Every minute, every day. Watch Newsmax for breaking news on President Trump. Plus, get insights from Bill O'Reilly, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, Mike Reagan, and more. You can find Newsmax TV on DirecTV, Xfinity, Dish, Optimum, Spectrum, Fios, Uverse, Suddenlink, WOW, and dozens of cable systems. So check your guide now and watch Newsmax TV. Real news for real people.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. The Listen Live link is in the top right corner. And we're also streaming live on YouTube. The YouTube channel, very easy to find, Nation of Jake. Same on Twitter, Nation of Jake, Facebook as well. All right, so we'll have more information coming up about the incident in Fraser last night. Some rioting, a brouhaha, a fracas. Again, it's been characterized as, a city on edge, what's next? Well, what's next is the folks in Fraser will talk about what happened, and then some of the city leaders will get together and they'll talk about what happened, and then we'll find out more about what happened. This is not like everybody is under martial law, curfew kind of deal. And there are people who think that. I was on a radio show, my friend Tony Katz up in Indianapolis, and he was just like, this is like Ferguson. And I'm like, well, not really. Not really. There are some details that aren't making it all the way up there to Indiana. So we kind of set it straight. It's beautiful, 78 degrees here in Memphis. This is it, this weather. Now, there are other shootings going on. There's shootings everywhere. And this one in the Dominican Republic had a lot of people scratching their heads. I was shocked to see the news about David Ortiz, Big Papi, former Boston Red Sox icon, legend. Just to call him a former Boston Red Sox DH, that doesn't do it justice. I mean, he walks on water in Boston, does David Ortiz. Well, he's from the Dominican Republic, and that's where he makes his home part-time in the off-season. And so he was there at a club, and he was shot by a guy on a motorcycle. And he had to have some of his organs removed, or parts of his organs removed. He was in serious but stable condition. He was then flown to Boston, to Massachusetts General Hospital, where they did some exploratory surgery. And it looks like David Ortiz is going to be okay, which is good. That's great news. But there's so many questions. Who would want to shoot and possibly kill Big Papi? Well, we've got some answers. Not all the answers, but we have some answers here. As you know, David Ortiz was shot at the Dial Discotheque as part of a plot that included a near $8,000 bounty, 2 cars, a motorcycle, and at least half a dozen men, but the motive is still a mystery. This was a hit. This was an attempted murder. Somebody had put a $7,800 bounty on the life of David Ortiz. $7,800 is not a lot of money to kill somebody. It's not a lot of money in the United States to buy a vehicle. In the Dominican, I'm sure it goes a little bit farther, doesn't it? $7,800? Oh, you can get somebody to kill David Ortiz for almost $8,000. I wonder how the negotiation went. Maybe he asked for $10,000. He said, no. I'll give you $5,000. Oh, I need $8,500. I'll give you $7,800. And so, okay, I'll take it. And then I'll go out on a motorcycle with some of my buddies, and will shoot David Ortiz. The brazen ambush at the Santo Domingo bar left Ortiz and 2 others wounded, and investigators believe the conspirators met in the hours before the ambush in hopes of collecting a $7,800 bounty, $7,800, that was placed on the former Boston Red Sox slugger's head. Now, they don't know who wanted him dead. They don't know. They know who did it. They know why the immediate assassins or would-be assassins did it. They did it for money, but who is paying out the hit job? And also, $8,000, $7,800 in this case, I would have handled it differently. And I don't mean to make light of the situation, but let's just talk about $7,800. Somebody approaches you to kill Big Papi for $7,800. I might go to Big Papi if I could get access, say in that club, and say, hey, David, I know you don't know me, but a guy offered me almost $8,000 to kill you. Let's go to the authorities, you and I together, and let's get this worked out, and maybe we can take down this guy who's going out and putting a hit on you. We'll find out why. You'll be safer. Maybe you need to get out of the Dominican and maybe take me with you, and we can be friends. Or tell you what, if you just give me $5,000, I won't kill you. I won't kill you, and I'll turn over the guy who's trying to kill you. $7,800. Think about that. David Ortiz must be like insulted that $7,800, or it's really just, you look at the cost of living in the Dominican and the standard of living. $7,800 go a long way. But yeah, I mean, this just raises more questions, doesn't it? But, David Ortiz, apparently, he loves his homeland. He loves the Dominican. And he goes back, and just a few years ago, I think that he was meeting with leaders in the DR to work on crime, saying, hey, we've got to do something about crime here. I love my country. I love to be here. I want it to be a place where I can live part-time, spend my retirement, maybe raise a family, whatever it was. But he visited with some high-ranking officials, if not the president or premier of the Dominican Republic. Maybe that got him in some trouble. I don't know. So they still don't know why somebody wanted David Ortiz dead, but somebody wants David Ortiz dead. And it's mind-boggling to figure out, what David Ortiz is wrapped up in or why, through his own doing or not. I mean, maybe somebody who just hates the Boston Red Sox. Maybe they lost a lot of money in 2004 when the Boston Red Sox came back in the ALCS down 3-0. I mean, that hadn't happened before, I don't think. So, look, it's a crazy story going on in the Dominican. Coming up, even a crazier story was Justin Bieber challenging Tom Cruise to a fight on Twitter. Nobody knew that Justin Bieber had beef with Tom Cruise, and I'm almost certain that Tom Cruise has no beef with Justin Bieber. So what gives? Well, it turns out we now know why Justin Bieber did it. Why did Justin Bieber challenge Tom Cruise to a fight? You'll find out next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
KWAM is saluting our seniors all month long. Here's Jimmy Grubbs, publisher of The Best Times, on today's seniors.
Seniors today are not just sitting home and watching television. They're either staying active in business or with family or volunteering. Yet in the past, we thought seniors gave up and went home, but they're out there today. They're by far the most affluent demographics of all. Individuals and firms that do not recognize that are missing a great opportunity. They have the buying power and the time to devote to financial things that are important to them.
KWAM salutes our seniors. Brought to you by Robinwood Retirement Resort, an all-inclusive senior living community that is the perfect choice for your luxury retirement living. For more information, call 901-381-8949. Ave Maria's Rehab Greenhouses, personalized care in a home environment. For more information, call 901-386-3211.
KWAM, The Voice, salutes our Mid-South seniors and a life well lived. Tune in to the Earl Farrell for Memphis show every Monday at 4 p.m. as we hear the inspiring stories from local seniors. We'll hear from Jake Shore, who at 78 still goes to work every day and heads up an annual Thanksgiving and Christmas Feed the Needy. We'll talk with Glenda Mace, who just turned 80 and leads a weekly yoga class for seniors, plus is a founder of Cloud9 Theater Company. And we'll talk with Leo Raymer, who is an active 91-year-old that when he was 66 sailed around the world by himself. Inspiring stories from the Mid-South seniors, Mondays at 4 all month long right here on The Voice, KWAM.
Renew, refresh, and rejuvenate in Ave Maria's Rehab Greenhouses. After surgery or a hospital stay, you want to get back to your normal lifestyle. If you can't recover at home, Ave Maria's Rehab Greenhouses provide the transitional care you need to heal mind, body, and spirit. Experienced staff offer physical therapy, speech, and occupational therapy. Enjoy private suites, chef-prepared meals, therapy garden, and more. Ave Maria's Rehab Greenhouses, personalized care in a home environment. For more information, call 901-386-3211.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Dan Groban and Phil Menard at Servant Advisors Group call this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Servant Advisors Group at 855-260-1000 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call right now, 855-260-1000. Servant Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Servant Advisors Group, LLC. Insurance licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, and in Arkansas.
Live your later years like you're on a fabulous vacation at the Robinwood Retirement Community Bartlett. If you are over 55, come and find out about an all-inclusive resort-style living. Month-to-month rent, meals, paid utilities, free cable, phone, and internet are included. Freedom dining, weekly housekeeping, and fitness center are just a few of the amenities offered. Elegant floor plans include full kitchens. Robinwood is the perfect choice for your luxury retirement living. Call 901-381-8949 to find the perfect place for you.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, streaming live on YouTube. Just go to YouTube and find the Nation of Jake channel. Nation of Jake on YouTube, Nation of Jake on Facebook, Nation of Jake on Twitter. More details of the Fraser rioting that took place last night after U.S. Marshals shot a suspect who came at them, rammed his vehicle into theirs. He was wanted on federal warrants. I still don't know what those federal warrants were for. I got some information about some charges that he had locally. Nothing that I see rises to the level of having U.S. Marshals hunting you down. That said, I'm sure we'll find out more as we go. Something that came up earlier in the week that we had some fun with a couple of days ago. Justin Bieber went on the Twitter and he challenged Tom Cruise to a fight. I want to challenge Tom Cruise to a fight in the octagon. Tom, if you don't take this fight, you're scared and you will never live it down. Who is willing to put on the fight? And he tagged Dana White from the UFC. Everybody was like, what? Why? What did Tom Cruise do? And then they started analyzing the fight, saying, oh yeah, Bieber's young. I guess the odds makers in Vegas, I guess they favored Bieber because of his youth, being 25 years old. And he had a height advantage, maybe even a reach advantage. But then everybody on Twitter was like, no, man, Tom Cruise would stomp a mud hole. And he's got old man strength, and he trains for his Mission Impossible stuff. We're talking about Jack Reacher here. We're talking about a grown man, Tom Cruise, against somebody we think of as a little boy in Justin Bieber. Well, as we all suspected, Justin Bieber was just playing. And he was just playing when he challenged Tom Cruise to a UFC fight. TMZ caught up with Bieber as he was leaving the LA offices of his wife, Haley Baldwin, who has offices in LA. Bieber admitted that he only sent that tweet about getting into the octagon with Cruise after seeing him in an interview. He says, I don't know him. I don't know Tom Cruise. He's tight. I mean, he's cool. I like him. He's good. The story is I saw an interview with him, and he was just on my mind. It was just a random tweet. I do that stuff sometimes. He even confessed that Cruise would, quote, probably whoop my ass in a fight, unquote. Bieber acknowledges that even if Cruise were to accept his challenge, the 25-year-old singer would need some time to get in shape. He says, I'm really skinny right now. I think he'd probably be out of my weight class. And he's got dad strength. He's a dad, right? Yeah, of course he is. Of course, he's got 3 children, one with Katie Holmes and a couple with Nicole Kidman. So the challenge didn't go over well for Justin Bieber. And he said, I'm just playing. I think what happened, Bieber got a call. Yeah, Bieber got a call from Tom Cruise's people. And they said, hey, Justin, Tom's down for a fight. You still want to do it? Oh, no. He wanted no piece of Tom Cruise because he's right. Tom Cruise has dad strength. You can call it old man strength. There's just something else. Tom Cruise will find another gear. That's what they call it. Like your angry guy. Oh, that guy's got another gear. Like he seems mild-mannered. He seems nice. Well, we saw Tom Cruise's other gear, didn't we? That Oprah interview. It is haunting, isn't it? And when you deal with a guy like that who's got another gear, it's always risky business, is it not? Yeah, it's kind of like Justin Bieber's playing risky business. Remember, Tom Cruise decided to mess around with Guido the Killer Pimp, and things got real in risky business. Same thing. The Biebs wanted to mess around, and I think Tom Cruise called him out on it. That's probably what happened. That's the untold part of the story. All right, coming up, more on the Frazier rioting last night after the U.S. Marshals shooting. Also, Donald Trump can't get out of his own way. We'll do that next right here in the Nation of Jake.
This is the Voice KWAM Memphis. The latest news stories are here. This is KWAM Memphis.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Real news, real reporting.
I'm Jim Shenevy. 2 oil tankers attacked in the Gulf of Oman, and the U.S. Navy has now spotted a mine attached to a 3rd tanker, which has now been evacuated. The Trump administration suspects Iran is responsible. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
The international community condemns Iran's assault on the freedom of navigation and the targeting of innocent civilians.
CBS's David Martin.
In recent weeks, there have been other attacks on tankers in the Gulf of Oman, just outside the Persian Gulf. And those previous attacks, those were carried out by mines placed on the hulls of the ship, and the U.S. blamed Iran for that. The U.S. did not retaliate for those attacks, but it has warned Iran it will be held accountable for any attacks on American interests.
The Navy attempting to trace those explosives to Iran. The events in the Middle East have caused oil prices to rise today, but industry analyst Tom Closa is not overly concerned.
We need to watch the region, but we're always watching it, and right now the traders are not willing to attach much of a premium to oil because of the geopolitical risk.
Damage control at the White House over the latest comments from President Trump, who told ABC News last night he'd consider it if a foreign power offered dirt on a political opponent, and he wouldn't feel compelled to inform the FBI. CBS's Paula Reed.
When pressed on whether he would want that kind of interference in U.S. elections, the president disputed the term interference.
It's not an interference. They have information. I think I'd take it.
It is a crime for her campaign to knowingly accept anything of value from a foreign national.
Democrats were quick to seize on the comments. Senate Leader Chuck Schumer.
No president has defined deviancy down more than Donald Trump, and his remarks last night define deviancy down to a new low.
A federal watchdog recommending White House counselor Kellyanne Conway be fired. CBS's Stephen Portnoy.
The Hatch Act prohibits federal employees from engaging in electoral politics on the job. The agency that enforces it says Kellyanne Conway is a repeat violator, pointing to her TV criticisms of Democrats and advocacy for Republicans on Twitter. But the White House fiercely defends Conway, calling the Office of Special Counsel's determination blatantly unfair and fatally flawed, a strong indication the president is not inclined to go along with the recommendation that she be removed.
Another state has legalized doctor-assisted suicide for terminally ill people. Maine Governor Janet Mills signing the measure after saying earlier she was unsure about it. The bill does allow doctors to prescribe a fatal dose of medication in such cases. On Wall Street right now, the Dow is up 51 points, the Nasdaq up 31, and the S&P has added 5 points. This is CBS News.
Would you risk your career or your life to go up against a big company if they were doing something wrong? Meet people who did. Whistleblower on CBS Friday.
John Gibson here, the co-chairman of J.P. Morgan, warned that a deep correction, like 40%, could hit the stock market at any time. Don't lose 40%. Diversify. My friends at Noble Gold Investments can help. Add gold or silver to your IRA or 401k rollover accounts.
Don't risk your investments. Listen to John Gibson and protect your portfolio with solid investments like gold and silver. Don't miss out. Call now, and for all qualified investors, get a free 2020 Trump Freedom Coin and 10-ounce silver bar with your account. Dial pound 250 from your cell phone now and say Noble Gold 30. Just dial pound 250 on your cell phone and say the words Noble Gold 30 to be connected now and get a free 2020 Trump Freedom Coin and a 10-ounce silver bar when you open a qualified account. Or go to noblegoldinvestments.com. Individual results may vary. Invest wisely. Open your qualified account today to get your free 2020 Trump Freedom Coin and a 10-ounce silver bar by dialing pound 250 on your cell phone now and say Noble Gold 30.
One word, plastic. In your diet.
A study commissioned by the World Wildlife Fund shows humans are now eating the equivalent of a plastic credit card every week. Researchers at the University of Newcastle in Australia say it comes from microplastics, particles smaller than 5 millimeters, making their way into our food, including shellfish and salt, also drinking water, even the air. Studies are underway on the long-term health effects of plastic ingestion. Deborah Rodriguez, CBS News.
Advertising has long targeted young people. Why? Well, because they're the ones who spend money, the retail engine that keeps the economy moving. Only that may be changing when it comes to millennials. Born between 1981 and 1996, millennials are aged 23 to 38, and with 83.1 million of them out there, they're the largest single consumer group in the nation. But apparently companies are increasingly reluctant to target ads to millennials. According to Adweek, it's because they're broke. Jim Sheneby, CBS News.
You probably want to eat healthy, but getting enough organic fruits and vegetables into your diet every day is not only time-consuming, it's expensive. That's why at Texas Superfood, we've created a blend of the best USDA organic, vine-ripened fruits and vegetables, powerful enzymes and probiotics, and energizing herbs, all in a convenient capsule or powder. We call it Texas Superfood Complete Organic. Hi, I'm naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, and I invented Texas Superfood almost 20 years ago with one goal in mind: to help people like you who lead busy lives get the all-natural nutrition that every one of us needs and deserves. So if you can't, won't, or don't eat all your organic fruits and vegetables every day, Texas Superfood Complete Organic makes eating healthy easy. See our full line of quality nutritional products at TexasSuperfood.com or call us at 855-TEXAS-55. That's 855-TEXAS-55. TexasSuperfood.com.
Jake's my boy! Look at him.
That's a real shame when folks be throwing away a perfectly good white boy like that.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, have some.
All right, welcome back to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 99. If you're old school, AM 990. If you're new school, also If you're even newer school, we're online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube, Nation of Jake on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. Send a message on Facebook or on Twitter at Nation of Jake, wherever you go on the internet. All right. So much going on. Memphis making some national headlines, at least for a hot minute there last night. We had riots in Fraser after a shooting by U.S. Marshals. I mean, at first you read officer-involved shooting and then riots in Fraser, but so many more details. A lot of moving parts to this. And there's guys like Police Director Rawlings who are saying that we shouldn't jump to any conclusions, and I think he's right.
But my message tonight is that we should all wait and make sure that we know exactly what happened before we spread misinformation or we jump to conclusions. But the Memphis Police Department, we've been very supportive of protests, but we will not allow any acts of violence. We will not allow destruction of property. We will not allow acts of vandalism to occur. And, again, I will continue to commend the officers for the enormous restraint they showed tonight. I'll take a few questions.
All right, they won't allow those things. Those things happen, and from what I understand, earlier I said I didn't read about any arrests that were made. There were 3 arrests made. G-Man told me there were 3 arrests made. Wolfman confirmed it, and I believe Wolfman, he's got a nose for news, does Wolfman. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that have yet to come out. We do know that the suspect who was killed by the U.S. Marshals, 20-year-old Brandon Weber, and he was wanted on some warrants, on some felony warrants. These warrants were from Hernando, Mississippi, from what I understand. Fox 13 has it that Fox 13 says that the warrants in question, there's no details on the charges that are associated with the warrants, but they're out of Hernando. And I'm sure that the U.S. Marshals Service Public Affairs should be releasing those warrant details in wake of this shooting by the U.S. Marshals. MPD was just there to assist in controlling the crowd, and that's what Director Rawlings and those guys were doing. They were saying that, hey, look, we're here to assist, but we're not going to shut the protest down. We're not going to make people go home. We're not going to start throwing people in the backs of police cruisers, but we're not going to tolerate the destruction of property or people injuring police officers. And they did a little bit of that. There were 25 or so officers injured, minor injuries only. Just a few went to the hospital, not to downplay this, a serious incident. But man, when I was talking today to a guy out of Indy who was calling me saying, oh, this is shades of Ferguson. And I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, if you look at the visuals that you got on the Washington Post and on CNN, oh, yeah, you see the tear gas. You see people throwing stuff at the police. You see people in Fraser who are really frustrated because they've been told that police are coming into their communities and killing their young people. And just coming in there and gunning people down. Now, again, we don't know what these charges were in the warrants for 20-year-old Brandon Weber, who was killed. We don't know. But I can just assume that they were pretty serious if the U.S. Marshals, a task force from the U.S. Marshals, were after him. And there were victims of crime if he committed those. So he's cruising around in his car 2 hours before on Facebook Live. He's going to lead them on a high-speed chase, and then he rams his vehicle into U.S. Marshals vehicles and then comes out with a gun. And at that point, what do? People are going to say he was in his own yard and he was shot 16 to 20 times. And you think, whoa, that's excessive. Well, if he's ramming his car into people and he's jumping out of the vehicle with a rifle, as some reports would lead you to believe, then that's a situation where you neutralize the threat. And again, I don't mean to wear this phrase out, but anybody worth shooting is worth shooting a bunch. And making that point is worth making a bunch, as I do often in the Nation of Jake. All right, and so other headlines, I mean, that being a national headline kind of fizzled out as more information comes out. I mean, look, we're going to find out about Brandon Weber. We're going to find out, how to move forward. And that just is like, how do we move forward? Well, here's how it's going to move forward. Anybody who thinks that they can benefit from this politically will try to do that. Any activist who thinks they can get their name on the radio or in the newspaper will do that. People like to use these kind of incidents to their advantage. And you're going to see mayoral candidates out there grandstanding on this issue when really it comes down to you had a dangerous felon, going to assume he's dangerous if the U.S. Marshals are after him, who attacked law enforcement. There's another story out there. And, let me put it this way. All right. And this is just from my perspective. All right. There's a story we're going to get to in the news cruise about a young man in Germantown who was running a meth lab. Yeah, he's running a meth lab. And there's a white guy in Germantown. Let's just say, Fraser is 80% black. And Germantown's got to be around 80% white. Okay, let's just make the comparison here. In Germantown, there was a guy who was running a meth lab. And he fled from the police. Now, let's say that when he fled from police, decided to make a U-turn and crash into some GPD cruisers and then exit his vehicle with a gun. Then the GPD unloads 20 rounds on him. Do you think that I am going to get upset about that? No. Here's what I would do if I was part of a crowd or onlookers in the aftermath of a GPD shooting of a guy who was running a meth lab in Germantown. I would stand up and I would give them an applause. Say, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Get him. Get him running a meth lab in Germantown, putting people in harm's way. That's what I want law enforcement to do. Especially if they're put in harm's way by a violent felon coming after him with a rifle after having rammed his vehicle into theirs. So I'm not going to get too upset about it, but it handles something differently in Fraser. People want to throw rocks and bottles at the cops, and then they got to whip out the tear gas. So we'll monitor that situation. We've got this. This is odd. Donald Trump. Listen, Donald Trump, I like to take everything he does, and it's just individual. There's good Trump, and there's bad Trump. Bad Trump was on display. All right. Trump made some comments to George Stephanopoulos over at ABC News about would he accept information, dirt on his opponents from foreign governments, let's say Russia or China. And so he had this to say to George.
Your son, Don Jr., is up before the Senate Intelligence Committee today. And again, he was not charged with anything. In retrospect, though,
by the way, not only wasn't he charged, if you read it, with all of the horrible fake news, I was reading that my son was going to go to jail. This is a good young man, that he was going to go to jail. And then the report comes out, and they didn't even say, they hardly even talked about him.
Should he have gone to the FBI when he got that email?
Okay, let's put yourself in a position. You're a congressman. Somebody comes up and says, hey, I have information on your opponent. Do you call the FBI? I don't think.
Coming from
I'll tell you what,
you do.
I've seen a lot of things over my life. I don't think in my whole life I've ever called the FBI. In my whole life. You don't call the FBI. You throw somebody out of your office. You do whatever you do.
Al Gore got a stolen briefing book. He called the FBI.
Well, that's different. A stolen briefing book. This isn't a stolen. This is somebody that said, we have information on your opponent. Oh, let me call the FBI. Give me a break. Life doesn't work that way.
The FBI director says that's what should happen.
The FBI director is wrong.
All right, so people don't like it when you say stuff like that. And Donald Trump talks a lot, and he kind of works things out loud. And people like that about him, that he's off the cuff, that he's not rehearsed. But then when you say something like this, when you know that George Stephanopoulos is interviewing you, okay? George Stephanopoulos worked for the Clintons. He was like the Clintons press guy, all right? He does not like Donald Trump. He has an agenda. So when George Stephanopoulos is talking to you about would you go to the FBI and you're just kind of playing it off the cuff, you got to be more guarded than that. You can't say that. So when you talk too much and you're talking to George Stephanopoulos, you're bound to say something stupid. And that was goofy. It was dumb, self-inflicted buffoonery. You say something like, oh, of course, I would take proper action and I would alert those who needed to be alerted. If I got some information from Russia or China and they were trying to interfere by giving me dirt or whatever, I would listen, I would hang up the phone and I would give a heads up to law enforcement. That's what I would do. But Donald Trump is just making it up as he goes along because he's not a politician. And a lot of this stuff, he doesn't know what to do. He obviously doesn't know how to answer these kind of questions to a guy like George Stephanopoulos as it's happening, unfolding in real time. And this is also why Donald Trump doesn't have a 60% approval rating. If he would just do what I said, if he would just say scoreboard, if he would just give a few stock answers here, say, hey, look at the stock market. Yeah, we had the best week in the year. So just a goofy answer, if you ask me. Now, he's trying to kind of massage that. Donald Trump is saying, no. What I'm saying is I'm just going to pick up the phone and call the FBI. I'm not going to let them know I'm going to call the FBI. I'll hear them out, and I'll assess the situation, and then I'll call the FBI. He says, I talk to foreign governments every day, he tweeted. So he's fighting back. When it comes down to this, is part of politics is you have to be a politician, and there are right and wrong answers. And just saying, no, I wouldn't call the FBI if Russia or China was trying to interfere in an election. He's saying that's not interference, it's information. It's just what it is. Well, I just think that Donald Trump could play the game a little bit better than he does. And just say scoreboard. Look at the economy. Look at what I've been able to do. 3.6% unemployment. GDP is outpacing GDP in years past by a lot. And instead of, the FBI's wrong. FBI's wrong. And people don't like it. That said, I could be wrong. People could love it. Because I think they do like the fact that he talks off the cuff and he's not so rehearsed. So there's that. Nancy Pelosi, she had this to say about Donald Trump's comments.
What the president said last night shows clearly, once again, over and over again, that he does not know the difference between right and wrong. And that's probably the nicest thing I can say about him. Because if he doesn't know the difference, it could explain some of his ridiculous behavior. And now to invite further involvement of foreign governments into our election.
See, here's the thing. I'm not so naive to think that foreign governments aren't always trying to influence the elections. I think they're always trying to do it. It's just like, but when the question is phrased that way by George Stephanopoulos, you have to answer it in a political way. You gotta grease that wheel. Nancy Pelosi, by the way, she's saying Donald Trump doesn't know right from wrong. Is she just mounting a defense for Donald Trump? Isn't the one thing that has to be present if you are guilty of something is you have to know right and wrong in order to even stand trial for something? I don't know. So that's what's going on in the national headlines. Coming up, we got Ron Hart, nationally syndicated columnist. I'm a little late here. Ron Hart, I think he's calling now. We'll get to Ron Hart next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
KWAM is saluting our seniors all month long. Here's Jimmy Grubbs, publisher of The Best Times, on today's seniors.
Seniors today are not just sitting home and watching television. They're either staying active in business or with family or volunteering. Yet in the past, we thought seniors gave up and went home, but they're out there today. They're by far the most affluent demographics of all. Individuals and firms that do not recognize that are missing a great opportunity. They have the buying power and the time to devote to financial things that are important to them.
KWAM salutes our seniors. Brought to you by Memphis Jewish Home and Rehab, near Forest Hill Irene and Walnut Grove in Cordova. 901-758-0036. Providence Assisted Living in Senatobia. Quality senior living in a caring environment. Call 662-562-9229.
Lightwave Solar is the trusted source for solar energy systems in the Mid-South. Lightwave Solar is hosting a commercial solar workshop at the South Haven Chamber of Commerce on Friday, June 28th at 10 a.m. Mississippi business owners are encouraged to attend to learn more about the costs and benefits of solar energy for their buildings. See how solar works with a tour of the solar equipment installed at the South Haven Chamber. Register at lightwavesolar.com.
Renew, refresh, and rejuvenate in Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses. After surgery or a hospital stay, you want to get back to your normal lifestyle. If you can't recover at home, Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses provide the transitional care you need to heal mind, body, and spirit. Experienced staff offer physical therapy, speech, and occupational therapy. Enjoy private suites, chef-prepared meals, therapy garden, and more. Ave Maria's rehab greenhouses, personalized care in a home environment. For more information, call 901-386-3211.
I'm Ed Parami, the owner of JanPro, the franchise that helps you be your own boss. JanPro is now the fastest growing franchise in the entire world for the second year in a row by Entrepreneur Magazine. We are growing so fast we need new business owners right here in Memphis right now. So if you want to be your own boss and open your own business, call JanPro at 901-683-4900 to see just how easy it is to be your own boss. For as little as $950 down, you can be a part of JanPro. Don't waste another minute. Call 901-683-4900.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com, and we're also streaming live on YouTube. Go find Nation of Jake on YouTube, some highlights a little bit later on the Facebook, doing this thing called the 2-minute show. The 2-minute show. It's this whole show just in 2 minutes. And you can check it out on the Facebook page. Also, get after me on Twitter. All right, it's Thursday. I like to check in with Ron Hart, nationally syndicated columnist, about what's going on in the world. Welcome to the Nation of Jake, Ron.
Well, to be in the nation.
Always, man.
Passport. Yeah,
exactly. Your passport is well decorated by being in and out of the Nation of Jake. All right.
Those don't check my bags.
No, never check your bags flying in here.
No drug sniffing dogs.
No, you don't need that. All right, hey, Ron, what do you make of all this brouhaha with Donald Trump telling George Stephanopoulos he wouldn't call the FBI if he was contacted by a foreign government with dirt on an opponent?
It seems like to me, isn't that the Steele dossier?
Yeah.
I mean,
good point.
And pretty much, yeah. I mean, so the whole premise of the Mueller investigation is the Steele dossier, which is a foreign-derived dirt on an opponent, which is actually fake, paid for by the DNC and Hillary Clinton's campaign through a cutout, law firm. And, it's pretty much the same thing. So, I don't know what the rules are. I mean, here's the problem in D.C., and it hurt Patrick Flynn and Michael Flynn when he got there. There's these convoluted rules about what you can and cannot do. Only lifers in D.C. can kind of figure that out. So you got a bunch of bureaucrats there who kind of know the rules and play the games. And Trump's actually refreshing in that he doesn't know the rules. He kind of applies common sense to like, hey, why is this a rule? Why is it the 1812 Espionage Act affect what we're doing in 2019? I mean, he has some pretty good questions. So Stephanopoulos is a Clintonite, as you know.
Right.
So, I'm not really sure how honest and fair he was with that. But.
Well, and a couple of the questions I have is, number one, you're right. The Steele dossier was a foreign spy, Christopher Steele, working for the Brits, but that was turned over to the FBI. So, I mean, that does follow that, yes, anything that you've got like that will be turned over to the FBI, whether it's bogus or a real threat or whatever you have. But the thing that people like about Donald Trump is that he is so off the cuff. But that's a double-edged sword. I mean, when you've got to know how to answer the questions. As you pointed out, George Stephanopoulos, he's a Clinton hack. The fact that George Stephanopoulos is on ABC News, given his history with the Clintons, that's a farce. But you have to, as a politician, the things that Donald Trump doesn't do well is be a politician. It helps him, but then in situations like this, it seems to hurt him.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever saw the movie Dave, or if you took like a blue-collar worker from New York to D.C. and say, hey, how would you react to this? Trump kind of reacts to things like we all would react to things. Why is that a crime? If someone's got dirt on an opponent, okay, so unless they're trying to undermine the United States, right, hurt the United States or hurt our government in some form or fashion, I don't think it really matters whether you get it from the Steele dossier or if you get it from, somebody willing to give you information on someone else. I mean, obviously Biden's son has a big issue in the Ukraine right now. So, I mean, fair game for the media to go after Biden's son who took money from Ukraine. I mean, first of all this doesn't matter. These people aren't going to mess with it. These countries can't. They don't have cable TV. They don't have processed cheese. I'm not really worried about these countries taking us over. You know, they got rolling blackouts with electricity over there. I'm watching this show Chernobyl right now, and it shows you what central command and control governments do to a country. I mean, they lie. They can't run anything, and they basically kill people with their nuclear reactors.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about that HBO series on Chernobyl. I'm not sure how accurate it is, but it does paint that picture, man, is when you've got all that power concentrated, that you've got these few people who may or may not know what they're doing, bad things can happen. I mean, that's pretty graphic from what I understand is Chernobyl on HBO.
Yeah, it's a cautionary tale about central command and control governments, which basically have mistakes and they lie about them, which really hurts more and more citizens. It was really a complete buffoonery at this Chernobyl plant, and they didn't tell the people in the town, who basically their faces fried off. And it's socialism at its highest level. And Trump, if anything, is a libertarian. He doesn't really care a whole lot about anything. He reduces regulations. He lets the private sector be and do what they want to do. He's unleashed the kind of animal spirits of the market. He's done a good job of creating jobs and letting people, entrepreneurs out there in the country, do what they do best. He doesn't interfere with people. He doesn't seem to want. He wants to control a whole lot.
And that's that's exactly what I said earlier, Ron. I was talking about it. If Donald Trump would just learn some restraint and just say, "Hey, look at the scoreboard. Look at the scoreboard, look at GDP, look at unemployment, look at the stock market, look at the economy, look at consumer confidence, look at all the things, the environment that I'm creating to unleash the power of the U.S. worker and entrepreneur and the scoreboard." That's it, because that's what people care about. That's what affects the most people. But instead, he tries to play this game, this minutia. Instead of just saying to George Stephanopoulos, "Oh, I would let the proper channels know if somebody was trying to give me information," but instead he wants to just kind of fake it a little bit. Like George Stephanopoulos asked him, would you tell the FBI? And Donald Trump's like, "Well, would I hang up and call the FBI immediately? No, but maybe I would do both."
After we learned about Mueller and all these FBI people, Comey and Peter Strzok, why would you call the FBI on anything anymore? I mean, the real story here, Jake, is that they have set law enforcement back decades by their actions because no one trusts them anymore. And I think the African-American community may be right. I mean, I thought for years when the African-American community would not snitch on their friends, would not cooperate with police, I thought, it's not a good idea. I don't trust police either anymore. And they set the trust for law enforcement back a ton. If I get us a year ago, 5 years ago, if the FBI guy came up to me and said, "Hey, what do you know about Sam?" I'd probably tell him what I knew about Sam. But today, I would play lawyer up because I'm afraid they're going to come after me because Sam may have done something. I don't know. I mean, no one trusts him anymore.
Now, Ron Hart is in the Nation of Jake. He's a nationally syndicated columnist. He's from right here in Memphis State alum. So, Ron, you from time to time, I guess every 6 months or so, you like to take a look back and take it in chunks. A half a year. You've got a mid-year look back in your column. And it's hard to believe, Ron. I mean, 2019's pretty much half over. It's unbelievable how, I guess, the days are long, but the years are short at this point in our lives. But you've got a mid-year look back. What are the things that stand out about you about the last 6 months?
Well, Obama got a $100 million deal with Netflix, right?
Yeah.
So even the Obamas are doing better under Trump financially. And this is true. Hillary actually found that deal, because they had to shut down the Clinton Foundation because they got found out that grift was over. So Hillary runs out to L.A. tries to get herself a Netflix deal. Said in the column, which I think is pretty funny, is that I hate to be the guy who had to tell her no.
Right. Oh, man.
That's got to be a tough gig.
Hey, I want one of those. I mean, the Obamas are doing the Netflix deal. They just got to deal with Spotify to do podcasts. I mean, they're getting into the media. And, we talk about media and how it's a form of indoctrination. You got to give it to the Obamas. They ain't dumb. They're not dumb.
Yeah, no, nor the Clinton. The only one that really hasn't cashed in on government are the Bushes. You think about George Bush; he's painting pictures down there in Texas, Waco, Texas. He's not exactly killing it.
No.
I mean, I know he had some money, but you think about the Democrat side: Schumer, Reid in Nevada, Pelosi. They all became wealthy through politics. I'm more concerned about people not, the billionaires who come into politics. I'm not concerned with how they made their money. I'm more concerned with people who've been in politics their whole life and now have money.
Yeah, you wonder. You're like, oh, this guy came in, he was a lawyer making $100,000, and now he's worth $400 million. How does that work? But man, I'm telling you right now, these guys, this is show business for ugly people. It really is. I mean, politics is. And so a lot of these Democrats and some of the Republicans, they know how to work the system. I mean, why do you think we got 24 people running for president? Because it raises your profile. You can make money off of it.
Yeah, you can your speaking fees go up, and you heighten your profile. You make money. I mean, on the Democrat side, Stacey Abrams, who is a complete disaster, by the way. I mean, I'm in Georgia enough to know she is a complete empty pantsuit. I mean, it's unbelievable how bad she is, and she's arrogant because she lost the election. She said it was stolen from her. Not stolen from her. It was not stolen. I mean, there's no voter fraud or
voter suppression was the big line. Like voter suppression was the big line
from in the world.
Well, there's record turnout. It's like whoa.
Yeah,
it's like hold on, Brian Kemp.
You can vote.
Right, listen. If Brian Kemp in Georgia as Secretary of State suppress votes, he sucks at it.
Oh yeah, he's not really good at it at all.
No,
it was a close race. I mean, 50,000 to 60,000 votes. But now she's playing this lament thing where she's like got screwed, and then Biden's going to name her vice president in his campaign, and she doesn't want that. She thinks that's degraded her. I mean, it's a negative thing that she's relegated to be the vice president. What an arrogant idiot! I mean, she's awful.
Well, and she also gets a bunch of Twitter followers. She's got a following, and then she could go do a podcast or she could do some sort of. I mean, that's just it right now, man. Is people are so into this stuff, and you can carve that niche and reach those people. You don't have to broadcast anymore. It's all niche broadcasting.
And she owes $100,000 in taxes, and she's bought $1.5 million house in Buckhead. I mean,
really,
AOC. I mean, she's complete. It's just, and she's like, if you listen to her speak, she never says anything provocative or thoughtful. It's all like, I was screwed over. Racism in the world. I lost because of racism. It's just so tiring, and the Democrats seem to embrace that for some reason.
Yeah, I don't like her at all. In fact, I remember when she was just a state legislator when I was working in Atlanta with you, Ron. I mean, I've got her cell number. She was just kind of like it's crazy to think that she is some national voice now. And I'm like, your ideas sucked then, and they're not much better now. Maybe they're even worse. Because at least at the local level, she had that voice, and you had to work across the aisle in Georgia. You got to work with Republicans in Georgia, but on the national stage,
like I said in the column, things change very quickly. She's a flavor of the month. But think about it: 2 months ago, Avenatti was the leading Democrat contender, and then Trump was a Russian spy. I mean, they create these false narratives in the leftist media that they really tease out into their narratives, and just think about it: Avenatti was the man.
Oh, dude, Beto was the man. He was on Vanity Fair, and Oprah is saying, it was Beto mania.
Yeah, and I said in the column this week, which you read, I mean, he kind of flamed out because the man talks like he's doing a kung fu movie, like it's Jackie Chan.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a weird, odd bird.
It's like he's always
Elizabeth Warren, same way.
Yeah, it's like Beto's always swatting at bees. He's always being attacked by bugs and gnats, and he's always just flailing his hands around. So
yeah, he's an odd bird. So I mean, they got 20 cuckoo birds. Biden's probably the best. He's like valedictorian in summer school. He's the best one they got. He's losing it. He's about and so I think Trump may, depending on the economy, Trump may have an easy waltz back into the White House.
Yeah. Hey, did you see?
The White House as a lame duck, I would love to see him as a lame duck. By the way,
do whatever he wants
now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'll leave you with this one. Did you see the news that President Starbucks, Howard Schultz, has suspended any talk of campaigning for president? He has shut it down. He's let go of his staffers. He's going to take a wait-and-see approach after Labor Day, but it looks like President Starbucks' bid for the White House might be over.
I kind of like that guy, actually. I wish he'd stayed in there. He was a thorn, and he's a reasonable voice within a bunch of clowns in the Democrat Party. And they would have no part of that. I mean, he had a pretty good grasp of health care. He employed a bunch of people. I mean, among Democrats, I mean, he was the most reasonable one in the crowd. And as we found out, there's no room for that.
Yeah, but he's not. Here's the thing about Howard Schultz is that he's not a fighter. He's more like Coward Schultz. He allows himself to get beaten up. As soon as he said he might run for president, they're like, "You're going to be a spoiler. You can't be a spoiler." And he's like, "Oh, okay, you don't like it. I won't be a spoiler." If I'm going to be a spoiler, I won't do it. You gotta fight. You gotta get in there and.
Yeah, that's one thing Trump does, man. You can say what you want about Trump, he fights back. And America likes that.
That is true. All right, Ron Hart, your column is out now. Go find it online. Google Ron Hart, the mid-year look back. A lot of great stuff in it. Ron, thanks for being in the Nation of Jake, my man.
All right, buddy. Take care.
We will talk to Ron again next week. I love Ron. He's the best. There's no better dude. Well, there's a lot of dudes I like as much or more. I'm just going to end it right there. Ron's great. You should go read his stuff online. All right, coming up, we've got a leisurely look at the headlines and the news cruise, and we'll do it next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News update. Iran is suspected of being behind 2 more attacks on oil tankers and an attempted 3rd attack as the U.S. Navy spotted a limpet mine attached to a tanker in the Gulf of Oman.
It is the assessment of the United States government that the Islamic Republic of Iran is responsible for the attacks that occurred in the Gulf of Oman today.
Secretary of State Mike Pompeo.
This is only the latest in a series of attacks instigated by the Islamic Republic of Iran and its surrogates against American and allied interests.
Correspondent Cammie McCormick.
One of these tankers was Japanese-owned, one owned by Norway. One of the tankers was attacked 2 times in 3 hours before the crew evacuated. The second ship may have been hit by a torpedo. Its crew was rescued by Iranian search and rescue teams. The U.S. Fifth Fleet also said it was assisting after receiving distress calls.
Ironically, Iran claims its ships rescued some of the crew members from the tankers that were attacked. CBS News update. I'm Jim Shenevig.
Live your later years like you're on a fabulous vacation at the Robinwood Retirement Community Bartlett. If you are over 55, come and find out about an all-inclusive resort-style living. Month-to-month rent, meals, paid utilities, free cable, phone, and internet are included. Freedom dining, weekly housekeeping, and fitness center are just a few of the amenities offered. Elegant floor plans include full kitchens. Robinwood is the perfect choice for your luxury retirement living. Call 901-381-8949 to find the perfect place for you.
ATC Fitness would like to announce their new partnership with Silver Sneakers. That's right, ATC Fitness now accepts Silver Sneakers members. ATC Fitness is your local, family-owned 24-hour gym. Get started on the right track with their easy-to-follow instructions and demonstrations. Remember, if you are a Silver Sneakers member, come to any ATC Fitness throughout the Mid-South. Check them out online at atcfitness.com to find the nearest location to you.
Appella is a nonprofit organization that is committed to the promotion of independence among their clients. Many seniors are not ready or do not need to move to an assisted living facility, but they need some help to continue living in their own homes. Appella's team of care specialists provide assistance with daily tasks that become difficult as our bodies age. Appella is locally operated and serves the North Mississippi area. Call them today at 662-429-3652 or visit appella.org.
Meriton provides services for seniors focused on making them feel independent and improving their quality of life, whether that's through work opportunities or being able to age in their own home. Meriton offers programs such as in-home care, including meal prep, household chores, home health with skilled nursing and therapy services, and employment for low-income seniors through job training and a paid part-time placement program. Call them today at 901-766-0600. Meriton, well-being, independence, quality, and compassion. Brown Properties. They specialize in commercial and industrial real estate in all of North Mississippi.
He helped me locate a space and helped me get in so easily. The most professional, most accommodating person that I have ever worked with in my professional career.
I would absolutely recommend Jim Brown very highly. As a matter of fact, he'll be my real estate agent from now into the future for sure.
Hi, I'm Jim Brown with Brown Properties, commercial industrial real estate located in South Haven, Mississippi. Call me at 662-393-2255.
This is Clark Howard. I love store brands and generics. You know that. You know that's what I'm about, right? So it is absolutely upsetting to me that so many of my fellow consumers are buying brand names again that we're buying store brands. And this brand name manufacturers, they're just so excited. They've been boosting prices again and again on many consumer products, up 10% or more, because they're not meeting what economists refer to as price resistance. So I don't know why you've lost your spirit of thrift, but store brands are phenomenal in so many cases, and now the price spread between the brand names and the store brands is wider than normal. So if you've gone back to buying brand names, why don't you test that store brand again? And the savings you'll get will be huge.
Guess what? Right now is the perfect time to tackle those home projects you've been putting off. So come summertime, you can just sit back and relax. Home Advisor can help get you started. Home Advisor matches you to the right pro for the job in seconds. You can read reviews and even book appointments online. Home Advisor can help with any home project, big or small, painting, plumbing, even remodeling. Find a great pro now before the busy season hits. Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app.
Home Advisor.
Have you heard about Newsmax TV? It's America's fastest-growing cable news channel in 70 million homes. Every minute, every day, watch Newsmax for breaking news on President Trump. Plus, get insights from Bill O'Reilly, Alan Dershowitz, Pat Buchanan, Mike Reagan, and more. You can find Newsmax TV on DirecTV, Xfinity, Dish, Optimum, Spectrum, Fios, Uverse, Suddenlink, WOW, and dozens of cable systems. So check your guide now and watch Newsmax TV. Real news for real people.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
It's the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. We are streaming live on YouTube and Nation of Jake on YouTube. Also, catch up with me on Facebook and Twitter, Nation of Jake. All right, we got to get caught up on some headlines here, and we do that each day on the News Cruise. Yeah, hop on the boat, leisurely look at the headlines. It's brought to you by our friends at Just Windows Home Services, 751-3934.
News. Exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. The News Cruise, full of exciting news. The News Cruise, so relax and kick off your shoes.
All right, welcome aboard the News Cruise. Again, brought to you by our friends at Just Windows Home Services, 751-3934. That's 751-3934. Just Windows does more than just windows. This time of year, they see a lot of people who need their patios and walkways pressure washed, maybe even their homes pressure washed. You can also get them to clean out your gutters. You don't want to be on top of your house, especially you got a 2-story. Have the guys from Just Windows Home Services come get rid of them, because you're going to see a lot of mosquitoes and ants getting in your gutters and all that debris. And it's just a good way to prevent the spread of West Nile virus. So when you call them at 751-3934, you tell them the Nation of Jake sent you, and you'll get 20% off that estimate. Free estimate with 20% off if you tell them Nation of Jake sent them your way or sent you their way. All right, so I think we have some breaking news here on the program. Don't get a lot of breaking news this time of day, but apparently, from what I'm gathering, there's been a train derailment on Poplar Pike in Germantown, Poplar Pike, Forest Hill area. They said that there was first responders on the scene and that a man has been extricated from a vehicle. These are all eyewitness accounts. Honestly, it's pretty crazy. This has not hit any of the news stations. I have not seen it on Channel 3, Channel 13, Channel 5, Commercial Appeal. This is going on as of about 45 minutes ago. It was posted to a bulletin board here on Facebook. Police and fire are on the scene. Poplar Pike between Forest Hill and Houston Levee. A train and a vehicle involved in some sort of accident. So a helicopter's been called in. A man has been extricated from the vehicle. We hope he's okay. Not sure what the make and model of the vehicle. Hopefully everybody's all right out there, out east in G-Town. So that's some breaking news on the News Cruise. Thanks to Wolfman for the heads up on that one. Also, good Lord, I just got a notification on the phone. Apparently, according to the Daily Mail, an exclusive from the Daily Mail says a Dominican model at the center of a love triangle with David Ortiz brawls in hospital waiting room. So, in Boston, I guess where David Ortiz is, there is a dust-up happening there. So, I'm guessing that the $8,000 hit on David Ortiz had to do with a woman, if you believe the reports coming from the Daily Mail. Those two things just happened here on this boat. Can't believe it. It's already been a hell of a day at sea, sir. And that all comes on the heels of last night's excitement in Fraser, where the U.S. Marshals were on the scene. They were executing a warrant, I'm told, is out of Hernando, Mississippi, on 20-year-old Brandon Weber. Brandon Weber took his vehicle, smashed it into the vehicles of the U.S. Marshals. He exited his vehicle with a weapon, and U.S. Marshals unloaded 20 rounds into Brandon Weber, according to witnesses who were on the scene. And so this has made national headlines. We don't know exactly what the charges were on Brandon Weber, why the U.S. Marshals were after him. That said, he had put on Facebook a video that said he fully intended on leading police on a chase and that they would have to catch him. So, that's getting you up to speed on the news to now, and I've got some other headlines that I had planned on going through in a leisurely fashion. It's not leisurely when stuff breaks, and news breaks like that. I've got all these reports of a train derailment, the David Ortiz's love triangle. Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm gonna hop off this boat sooner than later. Oh, the TBI, who was investigating the U.S. Marshal shooting in Fraser last night, where the MPD was on hand handling the crowd, and the crowd got out of hand and started throwing rocks and bottles and concrete and smashing cars. So it was an ugly scene in Fraser last night, and the TBI was on hand for that one. The TBI is saying violence against police officers in Tennessee is on the rise, according to a new report. The law enforcement officers killed, assaulted report, the LEOCA, found 2,313 victims last year, including one officer who was murdered. It's a 27% increase in just 3 years. TBI doesn't offer a reason behind the increase, but Mike Williams, president of the MPA, says he knows what's driving criminals to commit this type of violence. He said, "It used to be a time when you told them to put their guns down and they put them down. But now they are standing up to officers and it's leading to more physical confrontations or officers being assaulted." Well, that can also go into, what we saw last night. You've got a young man, Brandon Weber, who's got some federal warrants, and he's saying, well, I'm not going to surrender. I'm not going to jail. I am going to smash my vehicle into yours, and then I'm going to aim a rifle at U.S. Marshals. And then that's when you have violence against police officers, and police officers have to defend themselves. And anybody worth shooting is worth shooting a bunch. So, this is another thing going on. I referenced this earlier. A meth lab was discovered after a house fire. This is out of Germantown. I'm from Germantown. I live out that way. We don't hear about a lot of meth labs in G-Town. The fire happened at a home on Red Osier Drive, I guess in Memphis, it says. Shelby County Sheriff's Office Narcotics Division was called to the scene when they were made aware of chemicals commonly used in making meth and paraphernalia at the house. Detectives found glass cylinders, unknown chemicals, and unknown white powders throughout the house. They also found bongs and pipes. They later determined it was a meth lab inside the home. Germantown Police Department was able to track down the resident of the home, Caden Faris. Officers said Faris ran away from the home during the fire and was found with drugs on him. Faris is charged with manufacturing with intent to sell and possession of a controlled substance. Caden Faris appears to be Caucasian, running a meth lab. If it's not in Germantown, it's very close. It's that part of Shelby County right there, Hacks Cross, Winchester, Windike area, Champion Hills, which, when I was growing up, all those kids went to Germantown High School, and we used to go down there all the time. My buddy Kevin lived right over by Windike. So, for all intents and purposes, it was Germantown then. Maybe it's technically a Memphis address. I think didn't they annex Windike? Also, if Caden Faris, if this gentleman running a meth lab in or near Germantown had rammed his vehicles into Shelby County Sheriff's officers or Germantown Police Department and then exited his vehicle and aimed his weapon on officers, and officers took the action and put him down, I would not riot. I wouldn't riot. I wouldn't throw anything at the cops. I would applaud them. I would buy them lunch. I'd say thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it. We don't need meth labs around, and we don't need Cade and Faris running them. That's not what we need. That's a hypothetical. It did not happen. There you have the story. Oh, we've got a man in Memphis behind bars for allegedly stealing an American flag and desecrating it. Now, if it's his own American flag, he can do whatever he wants with it. But you can't go desecrating somebody else's American flag. Jordan DeMilt is charged with stealing the American flag from the Southern College of Optometry and desecrating it. His father, Robert Rivers, was shocked to hear about the incident. He's had a previous history on campus with the same offense. It's very upsetting to me. I don't understand why he would do that, why he thinks America has done him wrong. According to the affidavit, DeMilt was spotted June 10th by a security guard carrying an American flag. The guard noticed that the flag was missing from one of the poles on the north side of the school's campus in the medical district. The security guard was able to get the flag back from DeMilt, but the report says the flag had burn marks, holes, and a strong odor that was possibly urine. Oh, so he's done this before. So this guy has been stealing the American flag from the Southern College of Optometry for a while. He's got a beef with America and maybe somebody there at the old college. All right, we're going to wrap things up. I believe Earl Farrell is on location. I need to find out where he is so I can let you know. We'll get things wrapped up here in the Nation of Jake and turn you over to Earl Farrell. He's coming up at 3:06 right after the CBS Top of the Hour news. We'll wrap things up next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs, those little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows: storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
Live from Memphis, it's the Eye on Memphis show with host Betty Lamar. Eye on Memphis is wall-to-wall conversations featuring top doctors and community leaders monitoring social disparities in healthcare. Eye on Memphis with Betty Lamar on KWAM The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990. Saturdays at 12 noon. Sponsored in part by AM Diabetes and Endocrinology Center in Bartlett.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
Everyone knows that even good people fall on hard times. Your credit cards get maxed out, and you get behind on your taxes. Unfortunately, the IRS is not as understanding, and they won't stop until they collect. They have the power to take your paycheck, freeze your bank accounts. Even your home or business could be at risk. It's simply not worth it to take on the IRS by yourself. You need to call the experts at Optima Tax Relief. When you call, be sure to ask about the Fresh Start Initiative. It's a special IRS tax debt assistance program that could save you thousands thousands, even tens of thousands. Optima will immediately provide you with a team of professionals who could protect you from the IRS, ensuring that you get the best possible outcome. The Better Business Bureau has awarded them an A+ rating, and you will too. So put the hard times behind you and call Optima today for a free consultation.
Call 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289. 800-367-6289.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Miracles are happening in genetic testing and disease screening. As they say, knowledge is power, and Momentum Community Care offers you a chance to get early detection of cancers you may be genetically inclined to, and help develop a preventative treatment plan if needed. It's called CGX and PGX screening. The best news is that it's fully covered by Original Medicare Part B and most insurances. Call Jason Abbott at Momentum Community Care now for more information at 901-218-4425.
If you're a baby boomer here in the Mid-South area, this message is for you. We've designed a brand new radio show with you in mind. It's The Retirement Income Doctor, hosted by Dave McAdams of the McAdams Group. Each week, Dave will teach you retirement strategies that have worked year after year, decade after decade, in any kind of market. That's right, the Retirement Income Doctor will teach you these strategies. So join us Saturday mornings at 10 for the Retirement Income Doctor.
Meriton provides services for seniors focused on making them feel independent and improving their quality of life, whether that's through work opportunities or being able to age in their own home. Meriton offers programs such as in-home care, including meal prep, household chores, home health with skilled nursing and therapy services, and employment for low-income seniors through job training and a paid part-time placement program. Call them today at 901-766-0600. Meriton, well-being, independence, quality, and compassion.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube for just a few minutes more. Hey, there I am. Also Facebook and the Twitter at Nation of Jake. Going to have the podcast up and ready to stream or download not too long after the program is over. I'll try to get that in a timely fashion. You can stream or download the podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, and wherever fine podcasts are heard. So go and get that done. Now, we've got Earl Farrell will be on location today, coming up in about, just 8 minutes away. Just a few minutes. He's at Ave Maria Assisted Living in Bartlett. So if you want to go see Earl, that's where he is. Before I go, just a couple more things coming out about the dust-up last night in Fraser, the U.S. Marshals, pursuing somebody with multiple warrants, a young man named Brandon Weber. He was shot and killed. There was an ensuing riot. The DA, Amy Wyrick, confirms that these warrants, they were multiple in number, and they included violent felony offenses, and they are from Hernando, Mississippi. So we don't have all the details on what Brandon Weber did to have the U.S. Marshals on his trail, but we're talking about violent felonies, dangerous fugitive, and I think that we kind of knew that for the very fact that U.S. Marshals are after you. They don't come after you for shoplifting. They just don't. All right, Earl's up next. I'll be back tomorrow at 1. In the meantime, so long, and thanks for all the fish.